somebody and talk to. Oh my gosh, that filter.
It's on you. Okay, put it. I need my eye.
Why y'all women be?
If you're sexually active with a man, he owes you some respect. You don't think so?
Well, I feel like, yeah, he owes me respect.
Because it's like, I mean, he owes you respect. I mean, okay.
You are separating respect from truth. I can be respected, but also without being truthful. The same thing could be the same. It could be the truth at the same time.
It all started with whispers. The kind of whispers that don't just fade away but grow louder until the whole world can't help but listen. Martell Holt, once the polished, charming face of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, is now staring at a storm he can't control. The same man who used to walk into a room with confidence and a smile is suddenly the headline of conversations no man wants to have. Betrayal, legal trouble, public humiliation, it's all there, stacked one on top of the other like dominoes waiting to crash. And right at the center of it all is none other than Tasha K, the blogger who has built a reputation for tearing down facades and shining a light on what people try to hide. This isn't just another messy argument between exes. This isn't about side chicks or reality TV shade. This is about a man who thought he could out-talk, outsmart, and outmaneuver everyone only to realize that sometimes the truth doesn't care about charm. When the charges surfaced and the rumors turned into receipts, Martell's world started to crack. And once Tasha K got her hands on the story, the damage wasn't just personal. It was public. It was career-ending. But before we dive into how everything collapsed, we have to go back. Because Martell's downfall didn't happen overnight. It was years in the making. And the truth is, the signs were always there. Martell Holt was once Huntsville's golden boy. Handsome, well-dressed, and ambitious, he gave off the image of a man who had it all. A beautiful wife in Melody Sherry, 4 children, a growing business, and a prime spot on reality television. On the surface, it looked like the perfect package. But reality has a way of catching up to people, and for Martell, the cracks in that polished image showed up quickly. Behind the scenes, Martell's marriage to Melody was unraveling. What fans eventually saw on Love and Marriage Huntsville was only a glimpse of the betrayal Melody lived through. The cheating scandal wasn't just a tabloid headline, it was years of lies, gaslighting, and emotional warfare. When Melody finally walked away, Martell thought he could spin the story, as if reality TV viewers hadn't just witnessed the chaos with their own eyes. He leaned into arrogance, deflection, and denial. But here's the thing, people don't forget. Fans don't forget. And the internet definitely doesn't forget. Every time Martell tried to shift blame, every time he mocked Melody's pain, every time he acted like he was untouchable, the receipts piled up. What once looked like confidence started to look like narcissism. What once seemed like a successful businessman started to look like a man desperate to keep control. Still, Martell pushed forward. He showed up on red carpets, he popped up in interviews, and he acted as though the whispers were just noise. He thought he could outshine the mess with his smile and his smooth talking. But then came the one thing he couldn't charm his way out of legal trouble. That's where everything shifted. Because once the law gets involved, the cameras, the fans, and even the bloggers start watching with sharper eyes. And in this case, nobody watched closer than Tasha K. Now, let's talk about Tasha K for a moment. Love her or hate her, one thing you can't deny is that she has a gift for shaking the table. She doesn't just spill tea, she floods the room with it. She has built an empire on exposing what celebrities don't want you to know. And when Tasha K locks in on a target, it's almost impossible for that person to recover. Martell didn't seem to understand that. He underestimated the power of a platform like Tasha's. Maybe he thought she'd ignore him, or maybe he assumed his story wasn't big enough for her radar. But once the charges connected to his name started floating around, it was only a matter of time before Tasha pounced. And she didn't hold back. Her coverage of Martell wasn't just a quick mention or a passing comment, it was a breakdown, a dismantling of his image piece by piece. Tasha K laid out the receipts, the contradictions, the patterns of behavior that fans had been whispering about for years. She didn't just tell the story, she narrated the downfall in a way that left Martell no room to hide. One of the most brutal parts? The way she tied his legal troubles back to the same arrogance he displayed on television. She reminded viewers of how he mocked Melody during court hearings, how he laughed at her pain, how he flipped the narrative to make himself look like the victim. And now? The same arrogance had landed him in a situation he couldn't spin. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about Martell. The ripple effect of his downfall touched everyone around him. Melody, who had already endured years of public humiliation, suddenly had her name dragged back into the mess. Every headline about Martell was linked to her, every blog post mentioned their history, every YouTube title paired their names together. For a woman trying to heal, raise her children, and build her brand, it was another reminder that escaping Martell's shadow was nearly impossible. The cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville also felt the heat. Fans started questioning why they had enabled Martell for so long, why they laughed at his antics instead of holding him accountable, why they stayed silent when Melody cried out for support. The charges didn't just put Martell under a spotlight, they put the whole show under scrutiny. And then there was Ariane Curry, the mistress who once wore her role like a badge of honor. Suddenly, the man she fought so hard to claim was sinking, and she was sinking with him. What looked like a prize years ago was now a liability. The internet dragged her just as hard as they dragged Martell, reminding her that standing beside a man who disrespects women publicly is never a win. For Martell, the emotional impact was undeniable. The man who once called himself the provider and protector was now reduced to a meme, a cautionary tale of what happens when pride blinds you. Endorsements? Gone. Business opportunities? Dried up. His image? Shattered. The saddest part is that Martell doesn't just lose money, he loses respect. He loses credibility. He loses the trust of fans who once rooted for him, and maybe even the trust of his children who have to grow up seeing their father dragged across the internet. Tasha K didn't just report the story. She amplified it, magnified it, and ensured that Martell's name would forever be linked to scandal. And while some may say she went too far, others argue she did what needed to be done, hold a man accountable in a world that too often lets men like him slide. And now we get to the part that hurts the most. Martell's career isn't just damaged, it may be over. Because once the internet brands you as toxic, there's rarely a comeback. Reality TV is built on drama, but even drama has its limits. Viewers want conflict, not criminals. They want shade, not scandal that crosses into courtrooms. Martell thought he could outlast the storm, but this storm isn't passing. It's growing. Every new update, every new blog post, every new video keeps the story alive. And the more alive it is, the deader his career becomes. What nobody expected was just how quickly it would all collapse. One moment, he was still booking appearances, still flashing that confident smile. The next, he was the punchline of YouTube channels, the subject of Twitter threads, and the target of a blogger who doesn't miss. Tasha K didn't just cover Martell Holt. She buried his career. And that, right there, is the end of the story, or maybe just the beginning of the next chapter. Because if Martell's past behavior is any clue, he won't go quietly. He'll try to spin it, try to flip it, try to make himself the victim once again. But the question is, will anyone still believe him? Or is Martell Holt officially done for good? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, after these charges, after Tasha K's coverage, and after the internet has had its say, Martell Holt will never be the same man he once pretended to be. Martell Holt once believed he could outtalk, outshine, and outlast every storm, but this time the storm swallowed him whole. Tasha K didn't just report his downfall, she carved it into stone for the world to see. The charges, the receipts, and the endless commentary have left Martell with no safe ground to stand on. His image, his career, and even his reputation as a father now hang in the balance. And while he may try to spin the story yet again, the truth is louder than any excuse. Martell Holt's empire has fallen, and this time, there's no rebuilding. Thanks for watching, fam. Stay real, stay respectful in the comments, and remember, sometimes silence isn't peace, it's preparation. This is Celeb Nova, where the drama ends, and the truth begins.